Hi, I'm Mandy, back with you for another episode of VTV. Today we've got a very special guest, Vince from Body of Lies. Vince, welcome. Thanks so much for being with us today for VTV.
It's alright, thanks for having me.
No problem. First up, congratulations on the film. It's a huge role. You're being directed by Ridley Scott and you're also starring with Leonardo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe. Can you tell us a bit about the audition process, how you came to be involved, and what was it like receiving the call that you've been cast?
Well, that's basically what happened. I got a call that I was asked to be in the film rather than having to audition. But I suppose if you look, the casting agent had me out there and had a picture of me on her desk and was hoping to put me in something, sooner rather than later. And this part came along and she mentioned me to Ridley Scott and he said, yeah, he'd be great, let's get him, let's see if we can tie the deal. So they did, and I was very fortunate to be asked, and the rest is history. Excellent.
What was it like to work with such actors as Leonardo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe?
It was a buzz, sometimes I sat there and, it was working with Leo, and also because I've respected and loved his work for so many years.
Sure.
And watched him grow up. And Ridley Scott, I'm just, I idolise him. I think he's amazing. And to be asked to be in his film was, in a way, or surreal at times. Sitting there in the middle of Morocco, pinching yourself, going, is this all true? Is this all really happening?
In the film, your character, Skip, he gets thrown through a car windscreen, he gets smacked around a little bit by Leonardo's character. Did you do much of your own stunts?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go through the window with the car, but I did sort of the split second before you go through, and the bit that comes afterwards of rolling out of it. So,
right.
But the actual smashing through glass I didn't do. We left that to an expert.
Right.
Someone didn't mind getting their head cut open.
Did you need to do much to prepare for the film?
Not really. I read the book and watched a couple of sort of espionage films and stuff, and suspense thrillers, and immersed myself in a couple more Ridley Scott films just to see how he does things again, and get a good feel of it, and also have something to talk about when I get there and meet him. Yeah, but that's about it. When we got there, most of the preparation happens on the set. There's not like there's rehearsal time, but there was so much time on a set because the setups are so massive that we can talk about scenes and work through them and with Leo and with Ridley and make it all happen until it's exact, until it's perfect, because he's a perfectionist. Vince,
you've had a stellar career in film and in television. How does Body of Lies sit with you in your long list of achievements?
Body of Lies is a great thing to have on your CV because, first and foremost, it's a Ridley Scott film, and to be given that chance to work on a film of such mass, in that country, about that subject matter with two very fine actors, both outstanding actors, was a great place to be. It was a great gift, so it's up there, it's up there, and it was up there as another experience, that's the main thing for me.
What's in the pipeline for you?
What's in the pipeline? These are sort of questions, that's another hard question I find to answer because there's lots in the pipeline, but I don't talk about it because number one, there's two reasons. I'm actually not allowed to talk about most of them, and two, every time I talk about it, I jinx it. So there's so many things that
are superstitious that way.
Superstitious, but actually, it's not that I jinx it. It's just that if you say something and then it doesn't happen,
sure,
you've got to start answering to why it didn't happen. People are going to ask you, and that gets really boring. It's like I don't. When it's signed and delivered, I'll talk to the cows come home about it.
Fingers crossed for that one.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Vince, thank you so much for being here today, and all the best for Body of Lies.
Thanks very much.
No problem.
Sure, to do very well.
That was Vince for Body of Lies. You can catch it at a Village Cinemas near you from the 9th of October. Thanks for watching. I'm Mandy from VTV. See you next time.
You walk out on me, you know what that means.
What does that mean?
Right.
Off target. Copy, off target 310.